I just have one thing to say. Hang on here. All right.
I just have one thing to say. Hold on a sec. Ronald Reagan used to be called the Teflon president. Teflon because nothing ever seemed to stick to him. However, that was way before my time. Today, we have another Teflon president, Donald Trump. Nothing seems to stick. The grab him by the pussy scandal, the Stormy Daniels scandal, calling John McCain a loser for being captured in war.
And I said, somebody should run against John McCain, who has been, in my opinion, not so hot. And I supported him. I supported him for president. I raised $1 million for him. It's a lot of money. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. But Frank, let me get to it. He hit me. He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
All those things would have sunk any presidential candidate, but not Trump, because he's made out of Teflon. Biden, on the other hand, is a gaffe machine, and we're about to see if he's made out of Teflon as well. Both presidential candidates have provided us with plenty of gaffes and thug-life moments. Let's get into it. It's no secret by now that many people think Joe Biden is senile. I'm not convinced yet, but I'm leaning towards the senile side. Sometimes it seems obvious, other times I have my doubts. Let's start with one of Biden's most recent blunders.
Harris-Biden administration is going to relaunch that effort and keep pushing further to make it easy.
What he meant to say was that if he gets elected, he's going to chill in the basement while Kamala Harris runs the country. Now, maybe we shouldn't consider this a gaffe though, because Kamala Harris said the same thing.
A Harris administration together with Joe Biden.
Sleepy Joe loses his train of thought more often than not.
Do you really feel safer under Donald Trump? COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives, when you think about it. You could take care, if you were a quartermaster, you can sure and hell take care of running a department store thing, where in the second floor of the ladies department or whatever, you know what I mean?
I've got no idea what he was trying to say. No idea. Hey, at least Joe Biden can internalize the soul of the nation by beautifully reciting the Declaration of Independence. Take a look.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Doesn't look good, Joe.
I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness.
And neither does that. As it often happens when people go senile, if they're racist, it starts to come out because they lose their filter.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
You taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump?
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
Oh my God. I don't think racism is as prevalent in this country as some people may think, but Joe Biden is a racist. Even after all these gaffes, Sleepy Joe may not be so sleepy after all. This week, he showed some signs of life. Check it out.
Thanks, Mr. Vice President. You mentioned the CDC director's comments this morning about the vaccine and about masks and how critical they are. You've previously called for a mask mandate, a national mask mandate. If you were elected, what steps would you take to put that in place, and how would that work?
Well, first of all, I found it fascinating the president said, and Biden didn't put in a mask mandate. I don't know how old he is, but I'm not the president. He's the president. It's like,
I looked hard for Trump gaffes. I truly did, but I couldn't find much. Most of the things I found were mispronunciations of words.
I know words. I have the best words. He was awarded the Bronze Star and the Combat Infantryman Badge. Heroin alone, if you look at the heroin epidemic, last year alone, ICE officers removed 10,000 known or suspected gang members, and to delegitimize heart, lung, and liver transplants. And
if it's not mispronunciations, it's really bad hot takes or missing a historical event by 1 year.
The closest thing is in 1917, they say, right? The great pandemic certainly was a terrible thing where they lost anywhere from 50 to 100 million people.
What was easy to find was a lot of Trump thug life moments. And like him or not, you gotta appreciate this. During his campaign trail, Trump had very unprecedented things to say about dealing with ISIS.
This is making a tremendous amount of money because they have certain oil caps, right? They have certain areas of oil that they took away. They have some in Syria, some in Iraq. I would bomb the shit out of them.
And hey, it looks like he kept that promise. For the next one, you're gonna need some context. In 2013, in response to President Obama's State of the Union address, Marco Rubio, representing the Republicans, gave a speech responding to the State of the Union address. He was so nervous that the man literally went dry.
On foreign policy, America continues to be indispensable to the goal of global liberty, property, and safeguarding human rights. The world is a better place when America is the strongest nation on earth. But we can't remain powerful if we don't have an economy that can afford it. In the short time that I've been here in Washington, nothing has frustrated me more than false choices like the one the president laid out tonight.
And that brought us this beautiful piece of comedy.
It's Rubio! That's what it...
Trump is also very good at answering questions off the cuff and getting laughs.
Lenders to your company lost over $1 billion and more than 1,100 people were laid off.
Well,
is that the way that you run the country?
Let me tell you about the lenders. First of all, these lenders aren't babies. These are total killers. These are not the nice, sweet little people that you think, okay? You're living in a world of the make-believe, Chris. You want to know the truth.
People love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
You would say to President Obama...
You're fired.
Sometimes, even though President Trump is funny, he walks the thin line of being funny and being a bully. Sometimes he crosses it, and shit, sometimes he sounds like a mob boss.
Your campaign, as you well remember, began with the idea of building a wall along the southern border. It's about 315 miles southwest of where we are right now. You've said the Mexican government will pay for it.
Correct.
The spokesman for the current president of Mexico says that will never happen. The last two presidents of Mexico say that will never happen. In fact, the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, he said today, and I'm quoting him, he said, "I'm not going to pay for that effing wall." So if you don't get an actual check from the Mexican government for $8 or $10 or $12 billion, whatever it will cost, how are you going to make them pay for the wall?
I will, and the wall just got 10 feet taller, believe me. It's got 10 feet tall.
What would you do to deal with that reclusive country?
I would get China to make that guy disappear in one form or another very quickly. And let me tell you, people say,
how do you make him disappear and assassinate him?
Let me just tell you, no, well, you know, I've heard of worse things, frankly. I mean, this guy's a bad dude.
Now, of course, as always, I save the best for last. During the presidential debates, Donald Trump had one of the most wonderful comebacks I've ever heard. Take a look.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
If we learned something from this video, it's this. Don't mess with Donald Trump because he's got some moves. And whatever you do, do not cough around Donald Trump while he's giving an interview.
But at some point, I hope they get it because it's a fantastic financial statement. It's a fantastic financial statement. And let's do that over. He's coughing in the middle of my answer.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like that, you know?
Your chief of staff.
If you're going to cough, please leave the room.
Get a shot, and I'll come over here.
You just can't.
Just to change the shot.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Trump.
X gon' give it to you.
Hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe. Ginger out.